So, why is this business coaching so valuable, you might ask? Here's one value. I can help you with time management. Often, when you're on construction site, for example, you perceive that you have more pressing issues to deal with than a meeting with a owner or some kind of adjacent meeting related to your business. So you ponder, will I prioritize this or will I prioritize that? So time management is the key here. You need to decide if it's worth 10,000 euros or not. So attending this meeting, even if it's not considering your areas, you still get to learn about other areas, and subconsciously you already have a problem solution if it comes to your area at some point. This is why it's important to take yourself the time to attend the more important meetings. But if it is so important that and you know that it's irrelevant, then you are doing the right thing. That's the time management. You have to know what you're prioritizing. Is the fire you're trying to control today? Is it generating new fires tomorrow? So this I have estimated to, based on own experience, cost about 10,000 euros. Because if you miss that you need to reinforce a mural and you just close the wall, then you don't have resources to reinforce it. And now you have to purchase the resources to do it, turn, tear down the wall, reinforce the backgrounds, put the wall back, paint it up, and that time you don't have. Such little small thing you might miss if you don't attend and manage your time properly. 10,000 euros. Let's talk about this accountability. Accountability. This can wide up to 50,000 euros or even more. But often when organizations are procrastinating, it's they don't share your values. Your team doesn't share your values. The task is too complex for them to understand, or they have too much to do. So, in the case where they are not sharing your values, you need to go down there, have a talk with them, ask the emotional reasons behind what this is our purpose today. What how do you relate to it? And listen to the emotional and more difficult things he's expressing, things where he's stuttering. Analyze what are his fears? Where is he hiding behind? If someone is not sharing your values, then you need either to motivate them, to actually give a purpose and sense for them. We do this because of this, and this. Then he either buys it or he just ignores it. If he ignores you, then you do this. What is more sensible for you to do? We are not here to run charity. So, what do you suggest? Where can we relocate your skill sets? You're not running a charity. If you're hiring a relative who doesn't know anything about your business, you might hire him for 6 months, salaries, employee fees, etc., taxes, easily 60,000 euros. By being firm and try to sell your cause and reason to them, they might become this productive member again. If not, then you need to make him productive. If not in your team, then in someone else's team. So the next one, which I already spoke a little bit about, if a team member doesn't know what he's supposed to do, the work is too complex. You need to split it down to smaller pieces. You do this. Do you understand this? When will you do this? Fine. I expect this and this until that date. Then after that, we will go to this piece. What is there any unclarities? Then you go through it. This, this. Smaller pieces are easier to understand. It's not his fault your task is too complex. It's your fault. You need to hold yourself accountable and teach your team members one step at a time. Even if you are not a skilled handicrafter, you're more logical people or more a thinker. You need to learn his craft to educate him. We need to have this done. Then. How? He teaches you. And then you hold him accountable for that part. And break it down to several easier pieces. And the last part, when there is too much to do, sometimes there might be people who are eager to sacrifice themselves. They want to over deliver. And they are constantly doing overtime, offering themselves to take the heavier loads. Be mindful. Mindful, I mean. Ensure that these people actually gets rest. Even if they are machines, by law they are required to have a certain amount of rest. So it's easier for you to have the skill set, know-how, and the ambition working for you rather than in a hospital breaking his ankles or something else. In this manner, you don't lose resources and you save money and time by being mindful of these small things. If it's not engaging, they're procrastinating. If it's too complex, they're procrastinating. If it's too much to do, split it up and gain other resources to solve the issue. So, with these, I can assist you to be mindful of and earn 50,000 bucks depending on your project scope. This, when you're the leader, you have the bird's eye view. You have maybe air ducts, and your ceiling guy, he's not responsible for them, nor is your wall guy. What do you do? How can you save money? By identifying who has the resources, who is more skill set. Uh, when it comes to ceilings, you might think it's the ceiling guy who has the know how to seal ventilations. But in my case, it was actually a wall guy. He had the manpower, the supplier connections, and also the hardware to execute those ceilings. So this way, by knowing your team, getting to deeply know who you're working with, it increases your value and you can direct resources from one point to another more fluently. And this is worth maybe 5,000 bucks just alone by being aware of your team's strengths. In that manner, I have a group, group, team group exercise if you want to engage it. Another thing, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. I had one example where we were going to send a sample to home office abroad just to archive it as an architect material. So it took us maybe a week to express deliver it when snail mail would have delivered it within 3 days. Snail mail cost maybe 50 bucks, but the express delivery cost more than 1,000 bucks. By identifying hurdles and obstacles, being mindful and reading the field, understanding what you're working with instead of automatically following the process step by step. You must free yourself to read what's happening in your project. And this way, by being more mindful and more present, you have more options. This, in this case, it was maybe worth 3,000 to 1,000 bucks by doing the simple thing instead of the complex thing. And another thing, when you have a big teams, they don't necessarily go together very well. So they might spend half an hour walking to you to discuss what their behind the back neighbor is doing, and you need to go to the site, direct it, and find a solution, walk back, and then lose potentially 2 hours of a day just because the communication is not working in your teams. So by appointing, stating, declaring that this man is responsible of this man is responsible of this. Please communicate with each other so we don't waste time. Find hold team members accountable that if it's a too complex problem, then you split it up in smaller segments and hold each segment with time frame, accountability, etc. Smaller and easier to understand, and the responsibilities with his neighbor are clearly defined. He don't doesn't need to come to you and then walk back and lose a lot of efficient working hours. This will save you hence 2 hours, hourly wages, depending how many times it occurs, by holding people accountable and splitting tasks in easier and smaller segments. You can hold people better accountable for tasks they understand and can deliver.